This offseason that's kind of still going, technically, I guess, has been pretty ridiculous. It's just gone in so many different directions. On one hand, you have historic sports contracts being given out, like the literal biggest contract ever. You have a Wisconsin native who played for the Brewers and was their manager for almost a decade, leaving to become the Cubs manager when the Cubs already had a manager, aka David Ross. Oh, we didn't fire you? Oh, I guess you're gone now. Okay, see ya. And then you have the opposite of the historic contract thing. Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto had no issues finding teams. Well, the team, the one they both decided on. But the only reason it took those guys more than a week to sign their respective contracts was just basically to see the absolute best scenario possible. Like, they were being offered the best of the best deals everywhere, but felt the Dodgers were just the best in the end. In complete contrast of that, there are other free agents that have taken so damn long to find a team. Like, spring training games are starting, and there are still some star players, all-star players, on the free agent market. I've mentioned this before, but I really hate the idea of blaming owners for everything. I definitely think owners deserve blame for a lot of things, but not for the market being what it currently is. The reason it's been taking guys like Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger so long to sign is because they're asking for too much money, especially Snell and Bellinger. They're asking for what would be pretty obviously a very dumb contract for an owner to give out for a team to invest in. Do they deserve to get paid? Absolutely. Do they also deserve to ask for the moon? Hell yeah. But the owners also have every right to say, no, Blake Snell, we're not committing to you for 9 years and over $250 million when you're not consistent enough and have glaring issues that could come back to bite us in the butt if we did give you that contract. Another key thing to note, and I'm going to include JD Martinez in this as well, someone who actually refused signing with the Giants simply because he didn't want to go there, at least according to John Heyman. But those guys, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger, and JD Martinez, are all Scott Boras clients. Boras is the most known agent in baseball and easily one of the most known in sports. He's tough to deal with and squeezes as much money as he possibly can out of the players he represents, even if that means waiting into spring training. It's happened in years past, and it's of course happening right now to those players I mentioned. Well, Boras and one of his guys finally bit. They blinked. Cody Bellinger is off the free agent market now. Finally! Cody Bellinger was looking for a massive contract, being reported to be looking for a ton of years and at least $200 million. It was also reported that he hadn't received a single formal contract offer all offseason, whatever that means. It's hard to believe nothing was put on the table for him, but I guess it was nothing serious enough to be considered seriously as a real offer. But it was pretty obvious that Bellinger was not getting what he and Boras were looking for. He was not getting $200+ million, and that ended up being the case. He's signing back with the Cubs on a short-term deal that I actually believe is genuinely perfect for both parties involved. It's great for the Cubs, and it's great for Bellinger. The deal is for $80 million over 3 years with opt-outs after year 1 and year 2. And of course, after year 3, it's done, so he can still take this as a year-by-year basis for the next 3 years if he chooses to go that route or feels he has to. He's getting paid $30 million this season. If he opts in and stays with the Cubs for 2025, he'll make $30 more million, and if he opts in even after 2025 and plays out the entire 3 years, he'll make $20 million in 2026. Again, this really is perfect, and here's why. For the Cubs, it's not a big commitment at all. $30 million is no small chunk of change, but it's only for 2 years maximum, and it goes down to 20 if he ends up playing all 3 years of the deal. So they get to keep Bellinger on a short-term situation, and if he's great, that's obviously good for Chicago. If he's bad, he'll stay the next year and hopefully will be better. For Bellinger himself, this is a good alternative to the unrealistic long-term $200+ million contract he was asking for, because he's getting $30 million this year, which is of course a lot of money, and also $12.5 million more of a raise from 2023, and he gets to control where he is and give himself another opportunity to hit the free agent market and get that long-term contract he's looking for. If he's awesome this year, he can opt out and see if he can get a longer deal. If he sucks this year, he'll just stay with the Cubs for 2025 and make another $30 million. In the worst case scenario, he gets $80 million over the next 3 seasons. That's the absolute worst case. It really, at least in theory, should be a win-win all around, and it's a very ideal and appropriate thing to happen, I think. The thing with Cody Bellinger is, of course, how insanely low his stock fell after his abysmal 2021 and 2022 seasons. I mean, he was just brutal those years. So I think the idea for him was that since he had a good 2023 season, he was back to the guy he was in 2019 and could be trusted as someone to give a ton of years and money to. And stuff like that does happen. After having a poor 2020 season, Marcus Semien had to settle for a 1-year prove-it kind of deal with the Blue Jays, and after putting up monster numbers for Toronto in 2021, literally breaking the single-season home run record for a second baseman, he got his ultimate bag, a 7-year, $175 million million deal with Texas. In this case, nobody was going that route with Bellinger. As much better as he was in 2023 after signing his one-year prove-it deal with the Cubs, it still wasn't good enough to make teams confident enough that he was officially back. The icky smell of 2021 and 2022 was and is still kind of there. And not only that, but despite putting up really good numbers last year, the analytics show that he also didn't hit the ball very hard. I mean, the success was there, but it was nowhere in the same stratosphere as his 2019 MVP season. And again, he just didn't hit the ball that hard. Now, I'm no analytical nerd who is into all the advanced metrics and stuff. I find some of it cool, but honestly just don't understand enough of it. If you do, that's great. I'm just saying for me personally, I don't fully know all those advanced analytics, but I do think how hard you hit the ball is very important, and it's at least a good indicator on how sustainable your success is. If you hit the ball really hard, but it keeps getting caught, eventually you'll start running into some success because the unluckiness is bound to go away. So that's a positive thing. Same concept, but in the opposite way for hitting the ball soft. If you keep getting hits but don't hit the ball that hard, it's not necessarily that you're a bad player, but your luck is bound to run out and you're going to start regressing results-wise. So that's a legit concern with Bellinger. Is his decreasing hard contact something that will translate to long-term good hitting? Doesn't seem like it. Bellinger was not getting the deal he or Boris originally wanted. He never was, and it would have been dumb to give him that, obviously, for anyone to give him that. So realistically, this is the best route he could have taken by far. He gets to go back out on the market at any time after each season while making good money in those individual seasons, and the team benefits because it's not a big commitment. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.